Sometimes the word hoax just isn't really big enough to describe what happens when a black person makes up a story about white racism and black victimization. It's really, okay, there is a hoax going on, but there's really wish fulfillment too, right? Because everybody knows who watches this channel or reads any newspaper or sees any TV station in the country. People who do that know that black people are relentless victims of relentless white racism all the time, everywhere. That explains everything, except, well, sometimes we just have trouble proving it. Sometimes, you hear a congressman walking through a crowd of white supremacists in Washington, D.C., and they're spitting on him. And the same people that document every single second of their lives with video cameras mysteriously did not have their video cameras on when this ridiculous fairy tale supposedly took place. So, that's the problem that black people in this country have, is there's just not enough black victimization going on. So in order to fill in the gaps, they have to fill in the gaps with fairy tales, fantasies, lies, hoaxes, just like happened to this little boy down in Houston, Texas. Well, we have a lot of viewers and listeners in Houston, Texas. Anyway, so in this case, the story, this was a national story. Little black kid coming home from school, gets abducted by a bunch of white supremacists who, of course, have tattoos on their arms saying they hate black people. Well, let's hear that story, and let's hear how it turned out.
He is safe back home, but is understandably shaken up. Kamisia Carmouche says that she was driving down Wayside when she saw Xavion Parker running down this exact sidewalk. She says when she stopped to ask if he was okay, he was too shocked and too shaken up to speak. But when he finally did, it blew her mind.
His face was puffed up. He had scratches. His shirt was ripped. He had no shoes on. He was drenched, sweating, crying.
Houston Police Department responded to reports of a missing child Monday after Xavion Parker never showed up after school. He was found a couple of hours later, but what he says happened to him has his family shaken up. As he was walking home from the bus stop, Parker says a red truck pulled up and several young men grabbed him and pulled him inside, all while the adult driver cheered them on. From there, he says he was taken to an abandoned property not too far away, full of guns and torture items. He was allegedly assaulted and punched, and his phone, shoes, and jacket were taken. While the group was in the other room, he managed to make it out and take off as fast as he could. That's when driver Kamisia Carmouche saw him running down Wayside near Loxley and stopped to ask if he was okay. She called police and eventually got him back to his mom safely, but Michelle Lee says she won't feel peace until the suspects are caught. HPD says the driving suspect is described as a white man with a heavy build, straight reddish-orange hair, and tattoos on his arm, one of which is a racial slur.
He said the reason why they got him because they said he was black. You deserve to die. Exactly his words. And he said the dad had a white muscle shirt on, and you could see, he said it was right here, big as day. I hate black people.
Carmouche and other neighbors believe something indeed did happen to Parker. She says he was very detailed and clearly traumatized.
How you explain how he looked? How you explain the text messages? The mom got the text messages. I read them. We gonna hang him. You gonna find him in the morning. You gonna see him. But all that kind of stuff, come on, I saw it. So I know it's real.
Yeah, Eric, police told me this afternoon that abduction and alleged assault never happened. And they were adamant about the fact that there are no white supremacists kidnapping children in Northeast Houston. The story was horrible. A young teenage boy claiming he stepped off of a school bus and was abducted. An adult and 4 young men grabbed him, robbed him, beat him, all because of his race. This was his mother in the hours after Xavion Parker said he managed to escape the gun-wielding kidnappers.
The reason why they got him because they said he was black. You deserve to die. Exactly his words. And he said the dad had a white muscle shirt on, and you could see, he said it was right here, big as day. I hate black people.
But after a thorough investigation, HPD now says the events as described did not occur. That the property Parker described as having been taken to had nothing to do with any crime. Investigators have met with both the child's mother and community activists. They told them their findings. When we reached the mother on the phone today, she did not want to comment. Again, police say that this did not happen. They also tell us that they're not going to be filing any charges against Parker or his mother or anyone associated with this case. They still urge people to come forward with crimes when they see them happen. Coming up at 6, you'll hear from a neighbor who lives on the street where Parker says that abduction happened, where he was taken and held hostage. That neighbor says he never believed the story was true. You'll hear that at 6.
Hey, just so we don't forget what a real story of black on white / Asian crime looks like in Houston, here's one. This one happens to be true.
Don't know the name of the 14-year-old because police do not release the names of minors. You know, he can't even legally drive a car, but yet he is facing such serious charges, charged with capital murder. And he's right here at the Juvenile Justice Center right now. But first, I want to take you back to the day that this murder happened. Take a look at this video. We were there. Twin Nguyen's fiance found Nguyen dead. Just as he was leaving for work around 6 in the morning, her body was actually found right outside his front door. And the circumstances were very odd. I covered this story that day. The 25-year-old was still clutching her car keys when she was found dead, her arms in the air. She had been shot a few feet from her car.
So many people were so eager, so desperate for this story to be true. So many people who know in their own minds, they have all these. They know in their own minds that black people are relentless victims of relentless white racism. I mean, like the guys in Philly a few weeks ago. They go into Starbucks and they don't buy anything. Asked to use the bathroom. They said, no, that's for customers. They were asked to leave 3 times. They refused. Asked to leave 3 more times by the cops. They were refused, then removed. This is all proof positive of white racism. And so Starbucks had this enormous training, racial sensitivity training for their 177,000 employees in America. Another training, and MSNBC that night had a TV show kind of piggybacking on the Starbucks training. But if you watch those shows and if you listen to the training, you're going to hear a lot of, well, I was walking down the street and those people gave me a dirty look, or I should be this, but that person, I know they just don't like me. There's a lot of magical thinking, a lot of imaginary thinking. There's a lot of people who really desperately wish that they can blame white people for their own screwed up things in their own lives. God, how many of these videos have we seen now? How many of these hoaxes have we seen? I'm actually compiling my 25 favorite hoaxes, and I'm not working on that book now. That'll be the book after the one I'm working now. Because to me, the hoaxes are so revealing. The hoaxes contain their own kind of truth, even if that truth is the kind that does make the black kids angry.